Hello everybody and welcome back to the MiNameIsJake channel, and today we're in a hole in the 2023 Minecraft playthrough series, whatever it's called. And gonna do things slightly different to what the last few videos have been, which I've called ASMR, but really they were just fancy ways of explaining that it was a sort of time lapse. I just sort of played at night for a couple of hours, speed it up to 800% and export it, and away we go with the volume slightly louder than normal to sort of iterate ASMR. So I'm going to sort of do a bit of a tour of our little world here. I'm not going to do the full world because technically a lot of it we haven't really explored or done much with, but I'm just going to show you the sort of progress that we've made over the last little while. So you'll have seen that in the last video. We'll get onto that sort of last, because it's the last thing that I've done. But obviously we've got a little hidey hole here. We have some furnaces there, quite a recent addition, but these chests have been here for quite a while. But quite a lot of the wood that was in here has been taken out for that monstrosity. So what we were doing to try and sort of make it so we could see what the land was like around us, I was knocking down trees, but what I do is I leave the last log, or logs in the case of a jungle tree, so we know roughly where they were. This is a temporary tree farm, so you can sort of see what I mean dotting around. These are where all the trees were. So they're there. They're there. Don't cry. They're there so we can replant stuff if we want to. But I wanted to sort of clear stuff out so I could actually see what the land looked like, which is the important bit. The main sort of two projects that we've done, if we take our path, I'm going to come up on a small project that we just sort of dotted in at the end of one episode. There's this little dock, just so we had a place to park our boats. We'll go this way around. Obviously, we sort of live on an island, but it was joined in two places, and I'm going to get rid of those two places where it joined. So they're over here, and you'll have seen 2 or 3 videos of the ASMR style ones. While we're here, we've got some space. I might grab some stuff. So this is the first one. We dug through here, and again, of course, you can go back and watch the episodes if you want to see how we did it and filled it up. I'll just let some random clobber. So yeah, all of this was land, and there's sort of another pocket of water, and over by where all these torches were was another sort of section of land. And this one, I don't think quite went as well as that one over there. It's a bit too square. It's not too bad over here actually, but these corners seem a little square, and but they're a bit of a pain to do work on. So across here there's like a straight cut off because it's sort of there's a ravine kind of thing here that we had to move across. I believe it sort of blocked off straight there. I went round. So that was the island. So the island is now 100% an island. It doesn't connect anywhere. There's no bridges. Whether I decide to do bridges at some point, quite possibly, especially if there's a direction that we constantly head in, we may decide to do a bridge instead of doing the boats and stuff. I often seem to feel like I've put this dock here for whatever reason, just because I would set off in a direction cutting down trees, even though half the time we seem to be going over and being nowhere near here where we actually want to go. So this is the dock, all oak, and this is obviously just the path with the right click of the shovel. We have also, I'm trying to work out what's that up there. Is it? What is that? Is that the Wandering Trader or whatever it's called? Temporary staircase, as I'm sure you can imagine. Oh, that's to remind me. I'm kind of doing squares. That's the theme to this. And I wanted it to be on different levels, or at least the entrance to be. So that's why this is all a bit weird. And we've got to build a roof somehow at some point. But I was waiting for oak to grow. Oh, what I could see was this. Bit weird. I do have some maps to sort of map out the area, but unfortunately it's sort of split over 2 maps. Maybe with the cartography table we can join stuff. We've kind of skipped. There is something over there that we'll come to, but no, this is the house that we're building. All oak again, as you can see. I am going to put in sort of a grander staircase at some point, but the idea is a theme of squares. So wherever there's a joist, to have squares. I don't think there'll be one like across here. I think that's a bit too much. But just to kind of break up this roof, I'm going to have one across here, one going out across there. I think that'll help break up the roof a little bit. And also it can help us put sort of rooms in here. The sort of joining of the roof together over here is going to be quite complicated. I've done a start that I think sort of looks alright. We're going to have another little sort of hump here. I know I originally, when I set this out, was talking about building a castle on here. I've built a lot of stuff like this before, so I know how to do it. Like, a lot of the farms that I've done in the past have been sort of wheat and etc. farms, built in sort of a similar style to this. Obviously not quite as ornate. I did that because this was a house. I don't want to build them on this because they are a bit ugly. I may build one just so that I have food, because I am a little bit desperate and just keep raiding villagers for it. But additionally, what I want to do is I want to actually, instead of them being a tower, I want them to be dug in the ground. So I may build one, A, so that I can get food, and B, also to, you know, instead of having to dig a hole and then building it and have to mess about with the hole not quite being the right size, and things like that. I apologise for erming. I do that a lot. There we are. And again, we're going to. I'm sorry. We're going to build almost like a template, and we'll know what size everything needs to be, because I do want to try and make it slightly better if I can. I know there's more automated ways of doing it, but at the minute it's hard to, and also, because of all the sort of stuff that's changed underground in terms of getting redstone and diamonds and things like that, that I still haven't fully got my head around, I am struggling for materials. Though it wasn't until very recently that I got all iron tackle. That's what she said. It was all stone. Like, all of that river stuff was done with stone tools. We were in the Stone Age for a while, ladies and gentlemen. Not much of interest. We also have a mine. So we'll blast down here. Somewhere around here. Oop, bit of lag. So there's a cave system that I've discovered. There's lapis. There is some redstone, which allow me to get some compasses to do those maps. But again, I don't know how the new sort of mining stuff works. I think I have found a diamond. I can't even remember if I dug it or not. So that might have been a small disaster. Also, I've come down here with a full inventory. The intention, or should I say, the other thing that we found that I intend to incorporate into something, because I was just digging down and heard noises and eventually found this place, as you do. I don't know why there's such a weird lag. Like, is something rendering in? It lags every time there. Anyway, if we follow the trail that I made, so it's easy to get to. Here, somewhere, is a skeleton spawner, which we will obviously use for farming XP, but also, compared to a zombie or a zombie spawner, skeletons are obviously a lot more useful, because you get bones, which we can use to grow crops. So we might not even need to make those tower of crop things. We can make a automated redstone thing that just fires bone meal in if we get loads and loads and loads of bone meal, as well as, of course, arrows. So until we have infinity bows, very useful, of course. I don't know why I'm going to bother going caving, because I don't have much room, unless I just I'll tell you what. Let me pop this down. What was I going to do? Oh, we're just going to top up our bread reserves. Oak slabs, not important. So the rest of this episode, I guess we're just going to do some mining. I don't have really much to talk about. I just wanted to do an update video on what's going on in this series, because I know the last few have just been what I've called ASMR videos. They're not really. They've just been digging sort of like this, but with no talking at the top of it. Recently, I have managed, actually. I went out and I spent the money, all £309 of it, to get the full paid version of DaVinci Resolve. So what I always used to do, well, back in the day when I was on an iMac, I used iMovie and may or may not have been a cracked version of Final Cut Pro occasionally. But what I used to use for these videos was Sony Vegas. So not the movie editor, but the more professional ones, the proper Vegas. And obviously it isn't Sony anymore. It's Maximum or something like that. Maximum. That's definitely not what they're called, but it's something along those lines. What was great is that allowed me to import all the footage. There's those diamonds. Import all the footage. Cut them up and put markers in where the episodes started and finished. So, if I recorded this for 3 hours, cut them into 20-minute chunks, put the markers in, render marker sections was a script that you could run, and it would just render out them sections in 20-minute videos. There was some issues trying to export. It would never use up anything. So if you went into Task Manager, a diamond, everybody. If you went into Task Manager, it wouldn't be absolutely 100% maxed out. I don't know what this stuff is. Dripstone. It would never sort of 100% max out CPU or GPU or anything. So it was clearly a codec limitation. I tried all sorts of different things, and it was a nightmare. And another nightmare was trying to get footage off of my phone for stuff that I did in real life. I have a channel that I do stuff on planes, and I record all that with an iPhone. What I was actually doing was I was paying for a monthly subscription so I could upload the videos to Google Drive, because I have a decent internet connection now. I'd upload stuff to Google Drive and then download it again to then put into Vegas, because trying to get stuff off an iPhone to a Windows machine is a nightmare. I then bought a MacBook Air for multiple reasons. It's the M1 MacBook Air. And of course, one of the great things about it is AirDrop. So you just share, AirDrop, transfers across super quick, as fast as your Wi-Fi will allow. And there we are. And I would use iMovie. And it would export stuff so quick. And this is 4K 60 FPS. So better than what this is. And that's, I forced myself because I was actually, for the Christmas parkour, when I was doing the sort of races, so where it was putting different years together and seeing what year I was fastest, Vegas just couldn't do it, because it'd be a 4K video with, say, 8 or more different 1080p 60 FPS streams, and it would just fall over and crash all the time. Really, really struggled. So eventually I then redid the edit. I had to completely redo the edits for everything in DaVinci Resolve. And I think in the end, to get it to actually work and not crash, I had to do the final export. So I edited everything on my general computer, and then had to then install DaVinci, and this is the free version, onto my computer and leave it for 2 days to render out all these different episodes. All 24 of them. Again, 4K 60 actual output file, but there was 9 different 1080p HD streams. Because the free version doesn't allow GPU hardware acceleration, so it was all dependent on the CPU. My general machine, the full specs are in the description, but my general machine, 4790K, this is what I'm recording to now, 4790K processor and a 970 graphics card. What I used to game on before I got my gaming machine, which is a 9700K and a 2080, because it was designed to only ever play games. It was basically a PC Xbox. back then, even though the sort of 2000 and 3000 maybe Ryzen series was out, if I was going to do everything on one computer, I'd have probably gone for that. But for solid gaming only, Intel still had the gaming crown. The 2080 I got for about £550. It came with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the original reboot, if you see what I mean. For free, that was a 50 quid game, so I was going to get that anyway, so I counted that as 50 quid off. And because the Super series had just come out, they were all discounted. So it was 550, 50 quid for the game. £500 for 2080 back then was quite good. So there we are. It's a sort of small form factor build, and it's all SSD. It's 256 gig OS, and then a 1 terabyte and a 2 terabyte SSD for games. 2 terabyte because that's what I could afford when I needed more than one, and the 1 terabyte I actually had in this machine for games like Grand Theft Auto that would take 3 million years to ever load up. Yes. So I might grab this while I'm here, just so I've got it for when I want to enchant stuff. So anyway, the M1 was fast in iMovie, and then because of this I got into DaVinci Resolve, and it was fantastic for rendering 1080p stuff. So it would, this machine would render 1080p 60 FPS stuff in real time, so it would do 60 frames a second. So if you were exporting 3 hours worth of videos in different 20-minute sections, it would roughly take 3 hours. It takes slightly longer because at the end, to sort of finalize the movie, it sort of just pauses for 10, 15, 20 seconds. So it did take longer than it wasn't 100% real time, but close enough. I actually realize I don't have any steps, so I might struggle to get out of here. Yes. And the M1 MacBook Air did about 180 frames a second in DaVinci Resolve. Again, because it couldn't use the graphics card, DaVinci Resolve was basically useless on both machines. But for whatever reason, on Mac, the free version still uses GPU acceleration, regardless if it's an Intel one or an M1 or M2 now, I guess. It would use a GPU anyway. And in fact, other than the fact I can now use things like flicker reduction and video effects like that, Studio is a massive waste of money if you're a Mac user. If the Mac is what you're going to edit on, you might as well just stick with the free version if you don't need video effects. And there's some video effects you can use, for example, anti-flicker. And I had to use that recently on a video that was just too flickery to put out. And I basically had to do all the editing and then apply that on the M1 MacBook, because do all the editing and then apply that because it would only run at about 2 frames a second afterwards, and it took ages to export and blah blah blah. Exporting 4K HD, I've done more and more with it. 4K 60, should I say? Now I'm trying to do HDR, I had the anti-flickering stuff, a bit of color correction, things like that. Export's a little bit slow, but not completely terrible. And the M1 MacBook Air chip, we got to remember, it's just a CPU and a graphics card. It doesn't have any of the rendering stuff for videos. It doesn't have those rendering engines. We'll do some more mining, why not? Want some wood and some iron. I think I've sort of left that all down there. Wood, iron. Hi friend. Wood, iron, and coal for torches. Wood. A bit of coal kicking about. That's flint. Flint like wood. Grab that. Don't have the right wood to make these stairs, annoyingly. All just have to be removed each time. I don't have iron. Oh, it's down here, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, so I was trying to work out, well, my next machine, because, you know, my general machine, it's a 4790K. It's 2015, so it's coming up on, what, 8 years now? June 2015, so it's coming up on 8 years old. It's going to need replacing. And based off of the fact that the MacBook Air was so good at editing, I thought maybe I'll get a Mac Studio. You know, if I was to get a 13700K, and I was originally looking at a 3080 Ti, but I'll probably go to the 40 series now. You know, for that sort of money, you know, £2,300, you know, I can get a Mac Studio and you know, upgrade the hard drive in it, because it included 512 for some completely daft reason. You know, and that might be better, and also it means I can edit everything on one machine. You know, if I upgrade to a 4K capture card, an external one via USB-C, it also means I could finally actually use the 1440p on this gaming monitor that I've never used, because it's always had to be a 1080p resolution for the videos. I record it in 1440p, and I've exported it in 1080p, and maybe have a bit of compression, or 4K, and even though the video source material would only be 1440p, won't be too bad. The big problem with doing said thing is file size. Obviously, especially if we do it the 4K way, I save every export of video I make to a server, so it's having to pay for more drives to put into that. At like £175 for an 8TB drive, it gets expensive. Yes, I'm trying to find out where we headed off to before. But anyway, so I was trying to work out, and I thought, well, you know, I did more and more reading, and I says, you know, there can't be people, you know, a 2080 and a 9700K isn't miles old. It should be able to do, you know, at least 1080p videos fine. So I thought, you know, I could save myself a lot of money here, or get much better performance. If I spend this £300 now, it could save me spending £2,000 on the wrong device as a replacement. So I spent it, and now that it can finally use this old 970, it can do about 380 frames a second when exporting. So I'll record 3-4 hours of F1 and it exports it in 45 minutes or something like that. It's fantastic. Again, it's about 380, maybe it's about 460 when it's using the RTX 2080. For 4K stuff, the gaming machine is alright. It is faster than the MacBook Air, but this thing crawls along at 4, and that's just exporting 4K. That's not even with any stuff put on top of it. A little bit of color correcting, and that's about it. This thing crawls. So, at the minute, again, want to keep the gaming machine for gaming. So, videos like this one get edited on the old 4790K custom build machine. Stuff filmed with an iPhone gets edited on the MacBook Air. So I'm almost considering that when I get machines, Costco, I have a Costco card, everybody. Costco has quite a good 90 days return policy. If you're not satisfied, send it back. It doesn't really matter. On technology, it's 90 days. Another thing, it's seemingly unlimited. If you think it should have lasted longer, it didn't last long enough, or degraded in quality, take it back to Costco. They'll probably accept it back. Oops. You see, should I be exploring this place more? I don't really know. Trouble is, I don't have many torches to explore such a large cavern. I really won't make much of a dent. Yeah, I'm probably going to use the Costco return policy to maybe not get both at the same time, because I don't think my credit cards could stretch to that, but export and import stuff and go from there, whether it be, because spend a lot of time with my girlfriend. So you know, maybe while I'm at home, record the video, stick it on a. I've got an SSD that I use on the MacBook Air, an external one. Stick it all on that, and then I can edit it while I'm at hers, you know, when she's at work and whatever. Or whether I get another Windows desktop. I use Windows 11 at work because, you know, we're progressive and I work in the IT department. Oh, fucking hell. And I miss things like in the latest Windows 11 update, you can use tabs in File Explorer. Going back to Windows 10 or even just a version of Windows 11, because, you know, some people's automatic updates don't work. And not having tabs breaks my mind. Like, it's one of these things where it sounds such a small thing, but it revolutionizes how you do things. And like, I can't go back to it, and it's a pain and a struggle. Obviously, Macs have had that for a while, even before Windows 11 came out. But they do more updates. So yeah, so that's something that's going to come in the future. I also want to do some network upgrades to my house, so the internet is the best I can get. It's gigafast, so it's not quite gigabit speeds, although they don't guarantee it, even though mine often reaches it, especially. It's not that busy, and 150 down, 150 up, sorry. So, I do want to, so that's fine on gigabit Ethernet, but what I want to upgrade is obviously, as I said, I've got that server in the other room, the transfer speeds between that and this. The fuck is going off over there? Anyway, yes. So, I apologise for the amount of I will not say I'll give you a penny for every I say, because I will be poor. What does this do? What does dripstone block do? That's the question. That's the question of today's episode. That's not a torch. This is not a torch, ladies and gentlemen. You've learnt something. I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today. That is a ha! Ha, ha, ha. That's a new one. We are, like, struggling for food in this Let's Play badly. Okay. Oh, that was a horrible sort of popping noise at the end. Can you stop? So the sort of main upgrades I want to do, a new general machine and the networking updates, and chucking another 8TB drive in. The never-ending quest of chucking another 8TB in my server. If you're wondering why I do 8TB, it's fairly good cost per gigabyte ratio, without being too expensive for the drive. And now I've had an 8TB parity drive, they call it. I have to basically go 8TB or smaller, and my server is not professional. It has USB drives and stuff plugged into it. It's mad. But yes. Falling in a hole. A hole. This is my church. This is where I heal my hurt. Yeah. So, there's something about this area that just makes this lag. I'm happy with the gaming machine. The gaming machine's good enough for what I do. That's like worryingly loud. Can you hear that behind me? It's the water pump. The hot water pump. Just a little bit concerning. Let me go back to the future skeleton farm. And this is one of the things that I really like about the fact that we've come back to this game, to sort of go back full circle, come back to this game after a while. There's so much has changed that while it's not, it's a brand new game, it isn't. But enough has changed that it's different enough to make me have to learn things again. So, for example, I don't currently know what's the best way to make a skeleton farm. So I need to Google that and then work upon it. So let's I'll just have to just cook that in here for the sake of it, basically. I can't believe I'm going to go back to Stone Age tools again, temporarily. Get out of here, chicken. Yeah, so when you hit this stuff, you start going into minus numbers, and I believe you can get down to about minus 50, and then you hit bedrock again. Oh, gold. I can't actually break gold at the moment, annoyingly. But yeah, because so much has changed in this game now, it is like going back to you know, enough has changed. I know some people are upset that some features they've promised aren't in and crap like that, and they still have crap in the game. Like I still don't like they're having to sort of wait to actually attack things. I think it's just kind of dumb and was a way of slowing things down in a non-creative way. Is this gold? This is gold. You know, all the sort of rules of, you know, what my problem was is I would often decide to play Minecraft, start up a new world, get to the point where I was doing this and building a branch mine, you know, below 16, do that for a bit and then get bored and give up. And because I don't, you know, there's no point, as far as I know, bothering to make things, you know, doing those strip mines. I haven't done it, and I've ended up building a house and doing things like that. What do I see happening with this series? Probably how it has been. So there will be episodes like this where we talk and we do stuff, sort of almost like a vlog in a video game, and there's going to be the ASMR stuff, as I call it, but basically they're just time lapses where I've, you know, played for a few hours of an evening just to relax, and I'll record it with the microphone off and up the volume a little bit and speed it up and slap it out on YouTube, usually on a Wednesday. Not a Monday, because that's F1 admin. The day for Tuesday, excuse me. But also I might do project-y style, so it's kind of like, today we're going to build a house. First of all, we need to stay with the foundations. I think it's going to be this big. Going to make it out, blah. Let's go on and do it. And there's a cutaway and a cut back. And it's done. And I did it with this. It was a bit of a problem. I did blah, 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 blah. Here it is. I'm now going to do blah, 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 blah. How am I going to do it with this and that and blah, 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 blah. See you in a minute. And then go and do it and blah, blah, blah. I do that a lot when I do my RC stuff. Now, isn't always the best. Some people actually like seeing it get done. Not the worst thing. What's this? Tough. Okay. Not that tough. It's easier to break than whatever the other stuff is. Am I just going to drop through the world here? Oh no, we're back into this stuff. I'm not too upset that I'm mining a load of whatever this stuff is, because I'm using it as like the patio to my house. So the fact that I have a couple of stacks of it is fine, but you do keep going. What are we at now? Minus 35? Again, I think it goes down to minus 50. Because I think the idea is that if you take a world from before this generation update, basically what they would do is they would get rid of all of the bedrock and start replacing it with this. Then you burst into a world underneath and it regenerates, so you don't have to go to new chunks. You just have to dig through what was this, and I presume that causes problems for some people, although most people, if they went under bedrock or over bedrock, it was in the nether, they'd do that in the nether. Whether that has changed or not, again, we've not been to the nether yet. Oops. Need to see how that has changed. I am looking forward to going to the nether at some point, but I need a decent set of lava, some water, and some decent equipment. And again, I haven't raced straight to all diamonds. We have the one diamond, it is there. And that's it. Tell you what, we'll probably leave it there, actually. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this type of stuff, please like, subscribe. Any questions, feedback, if you like, leave it down below. Subscribe, like, and comment. They're the three things. I can't remember if I've done them all, but I definitely have now. So thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, my mouse is on a very short cable here. Oh, come, yeah.